welcome back to Building the UAF, a series where I attempt to build UAF ships to the best of my abilities. Today we'll be doing these 6 ships. The Zaporia 3M class super fleet carrier, the Rilaru 2 SP class elite battle cruiser, the Shinoria 2 M class aviation cruiser, the Inazuma 2 M class cruiser, and the Tsunami MP class prototype ASTL cruiser. We're going to start off with the Zaporia. The Zaporia is going to be your secondary fleet carrier apart from the Nexerelin. It's side grade essentially. This one is more focused on sort of brawling with its fighters. You get 5 bays, you get 1 large ballistic, 2 medium composites, 2 medium hybrids, 2 medium ballistics, 2 large missile hardpoints, and then a scattering of small and medium or small hybrid ballistic turrets with 2 of the Tri-Seawiz built in. You get 360 ordnance points, so you can make this an absolute monster. The way that I personally build this is, since you don't want this thing brawling to say, you want it kind of in the back dealing a sort of like frontline support role. I didn't grab any weapons. My bad. Now we can build it because I actually have weapons. There are a lot of different guns that you can put on this thing that will end up being good. I would put anti-shield weapons, whether you're going for UAF specific weapons. If you are, I would put on something like the, where is it? The Sirena 452 support, or the Sirena 452 Rapid. The Rapid will create more flux, but overall they have very similar profiles. So we're gonna go with the Rapid. These missile hardpoints, if you want to, 2 mini briefs work completely fine. I wouldn't put 2 mini briefs. I would put on either, if you're going UAF weapons, the Squall MLRS multi-purpose rocket launcher or multi-purpose rocket are great. They are anti-shield rockets that can deal an effective support role due to their large ammo size, I want to say. And they're 280 max ammo while also having very fast fire rate. If you don't want to go for UAF, Dragonfires are decent, but I would put on either the Squall MLRS or the Pilum LRM catapults. Very good suppression and support missiles. These are highly recommended. But I am going to go with the Squalls just for now. These 2 medium composites, again, you can make them missiles. Nothing is wrong with that. I wouldn't, though. You don't really need that many missiles, in my opinion. I would put on anti-armor weapons here just to play it safe, so that all your anti-armor isn't wrapped up in missiles. Actually, you would probably want to change these out for the where are they? Not these. The Settlements, the Settlements MSMs are good. Actually, you know what? Yeah, let's put on 2 semi-breeze for anti-shield, for anti-armor duty. And then I would make the 2 front points, Seawiz point defense, mainly because you want a lot of it, and it will save you out of filling up all of these small ballistics, which you just don't really want to do. then these two medium hybrids are flex. If you're not going semi-briefs here for anti-armor, if you say went with something like the Squalls or the Amazochi, check for my mispronunciations, or the Settlements, I would put on more anti-shield, anti-armor weapons here. Something like heavy maulers would work fine. The anti-armor variant of this weapon would work fine. The ivory would work fine. Honestly, anything, it matters what your missiles are. Since if you have less anti-armor missiles, you're going to want more anti-armor guns, just so that way it can defend itself. These 4 Sea-Wiz guns will do more than enough for your point defense needs. Since I am going to go with these Settlements, I am going to put on another row of anti-armor weapons here. You can cheap out and go for these, or you can go more expensive heavy maulers, or if you have other mods installed, whatever seems better. I forgot to add fighters. Now, for the fighter bays, this is really up to what you want it to do. When I build carriers, I like to make them sort of stick to one role. So if they're going bombers, you're going to want to pick something that is relatively cheap. I would go with 3 Exo Scars, and then 2 of the either the Surreal Horizon Interceptors, or the more expensive Super Arias. Just because when you send in bombers, you want fighters there to support them, so they're not getting targeted by enemy point defense and other fighters. You want essentially a smoke screen, in a way. For hull mods, which I forgot to add again, your pretty basic suite will be more than enough. I would get Flux Coil, Adjuvant, I would get Hardened Shields, and I would get the Fighter, Expanded Deck Crews is what I would grab. And then, since you have 360 ordnance points, you can S-mod these in and get more vents and another one. That's not necessary though, in my opinion, but I would definitely recommend S-mods if you were going to S-mod in some more stuff. Armored weapon mounts work fine. You could even go for like defensive targeting array if you want. I wouldn't, but you could. If you were going to make this into more of a point defense ship, the integrated point defense AI would be better, so that way all your weapons target, but I personally would not do that. This is a very standard build for the ship, and it's what I would suggest if you wanted to play a sort of multi-role all-rounder. I wouldn't change too much from this. Like I said, if you are running semi-briefs here, replace these with either, if you want more point defense, do it. If you want more anti-shield, do it. It does not necessarily matter. On to the Rilaru 2 SP. This is a straight upgrade from the Rilaru in every way, shape, and form. It gets 1 more fighter bay, it gets 2 more large slots. It is, in every conceivable way, an upgrade. Building this is interesting, and I very much like building this ship due to that fact. I built a Rilaru in the last video, I'm pretty sure. I'll double check after this. And it's a very fun ship to build, and it's a very fun ship to pilot. Now, to build this, we're gonna go I'm gonna do a pretty interesting build here. I am sticking to mainly UAF weapons because I think they work the best with UAF ships, and they overall fit the design the best, obviously. I'm gonna go for the Hexa Rapids. Actually, no, the Sarah Rapids, my bad. The anti-shield, and then here will be the Hexa Rapids, your anti-armor. You will point forward, and whatever's in front of you will die. That's all you really need. The medium universal in the front will be point defense. The 2 medium. Now, for these 2 medium universals, you can either go point defense, or you can double up on anti-armor or anti-shield weapons. Whatever you really want there works well because of the amount of large mounts you have. But I'm going to put on some cheaper point defense in the form of dual flax, which are slightly cheaper than the Frya 30s, and work just as well but have less range. These smalls, like I said, are up to you. Do you want more point defense? If you do, be my guest. This is also a perfect ship to put mini briefs on. Why? You are going to be pointing forward. You're going to be in the face of the enemy. You are going to be where mini briefs are at their best. So just slap them on. For these small missiles, you can put mini brief S launchers. I wouldn't. They don't do much damage. They aren't that good. Course AAMs work if you want more point defense. Really, like, these are like another flex slot where anything works. I'm just gonna put on Solomon's disruptor missiles. You can also put them here because these are universal slots. And then I'm gonna put more point defense. Let this be known, the motto in Star Sector is that there simply is never enough point defense. You always want more of it. For your two fighters, Hyper Arias are the best, but they are very ordnance points heavy. 28 times 2 is a lot, but you will get the absolute most value out of them on this ship. Specifically, if you have Yui Thompson as the captain of the ship, with her special buffs, special skills, buffing UAF ships and UAF fighters, absolute menace to fight. Again, a relatively standard SMOD setup. Armored weapon mount, since this thing is going to be fighting. Expanded magazines might help these. I'm not too sure if these are magazine weapons or insta reloads. Cannot remember. But if you SMOD it, you get that recharge rate bonus. I would go Flux Coil Adjudicant, and the reason for that is you are making 2,500 flux per second. Every second that your weapon fires. You will essentially never be able to drain that amount of flux without a ridiculous amount of investment into vents. So getting more flux capacity will be a higher bang for your buck. What I would SMOD in would be, well, I don't have any story points. Well, if you had story points, and if I could SMOD things in expanded magazines and armored weapon mounts, then you would get more capacitors. It's gonna have to be cut out. Well, I probably won't end up cutting it out though. Yeah, with story points, with SMODs, with everything that you could possibly want, I will demonstrate here. I would SMOD in these two, and then just simply get more capacitors. That always works. You could also go cheaper on the weapons by dropping these two dual flax. I don't necessarily think you're going to need them. And then use these small universal mounts as your point defense instead. Using something like the these, which cost significantly less. And then more capacitors, more vents. You can get more SMODs if you want. That always works. I don't have best of the best, so I can't get 3. But if you do it. And this is about as standard as a build with the Rilaru 2SP that I would make. If I was feeling more interesting, or less interesting I should say, I would replace these mini brief pods with support missiles and put semi briefs on the large mounts. You can do that, I wouldn't suggest it. No need to change weapon groups. Now, for the Shinoria 2M, This is the version of the Shinoria that loses a fighter bay, but gains more armor and more mounts. Building this is also relatively simple, since you only have one fighter bay, Hyper Arias. Either Hyper Arias, and if you don't have them, Nekoyans work fine, Luna Moons work fine, or Lumania works fine. Essentially any fighter works fine, any actual like attacking fighter. For these missile hardpoints, since they are pointed to the side, you are going to want to put support missiles, something that has an actual tracker. Exoscars would work. Actually, no, let's do 2 Exoscars. And 2, where are they? Supplements. Because these point forward. You could also probably rotate that to where it's like this. And then this medium universal in the back is going to be point defense. These 2 medium hybrids will consist of your main damage in the form of 2 of the Tanya 2 anti-shield railguns. These 2 small composites can be more missiles if you want. There aren't any good like small missile weapons or small anti-armor weapons. So what you could do is replace these with something like the where is it? The ivories, and then put like railguns on these 4 slots. Would actually give it quite the punch, but you don't necessarily need to do that because you have a medium in the center. Put point defense here and there, and I'm going to leave these 4 slots empty. I just simply don't think that they're needed. I'm also going to grab best of the best, so I can build in 1 more S-mod on the remaining ships. Like I said, if you are going to have in best of the best, put S-mod in Flux Coil Adjudicant on the Rularu, and then S-mod in Flux Coil Adjudicant, Hardened Shields, and then grab whatever else you want on this. As for S-mods, 1 second, fighters. I don't have enough for Expanded Deck Crew. Expanded Deck Crew is always good. Expanded Deck Crew. And then this thing will be attacking, so your standard attacking layout of S-mods, and then full caps, full vents. Very standard build, and a build that I actually do enjoy playing with myself. The UAF is a very good faction for doing Wolfpack tactics, cruiser only type of stuff, and I would highly recommend it. Time for the Inazuma, and I think this ship is one of the reasons why, in full honesty. It comes with 2 of these Persisia 304 built-in general energy weapons, and then you get 1 medium component composite, 3 medium hybrids, and then a medium ballistic in the back. You know what we're putting on that medium ballistic, right? Yeah, point defense. Since these are general, you can put on, I'm going to put on anti-armor here. Why can't I find the anti-armor gun? Gun blind again. Where is it? Yeah, 2 of those, and then 2 of these. And that will clear up anything. And then this medium missile semi-briefs could honestly work. It would be funny. And then point defense at the back. Because never enough PD. This one will also be your very standard stuff for an attack, a ship made for getting in the enemy's face and attacking. Full flux, full vents. You could drop a few of these and maybe get another S-mod as you had 11 points left. Could go expanded mags. And done. The Inazuma build that I would run. Actually, pretty fun flagship too. 2 more ships left, guys. Or 1 more, actually. The Tsunami class AST cruiser. a lot like a Minoria, but fast missile racks. So you know what that means. Support missiles. Support missiles, support missiles, support missiles. You have no guns. You have almost no way of protecting yourself. This thing is not supposed to be shot at, and if it's shot at, you're probably screwed. So support missiles. You want this thing as far back as possible, providing a lot of missile fire for your ships in the front. This is where getting good bombers can be very good. Sakurais work well, but I would get Helicans. Helicans, if memory stands, come with exoscars. I was wrong. I'm thinking of something else. I know one of these come with exoscar bombers. Was it Sakurai? No. You could also go Hibiscus if you want to be very cheap. Oh, there they are, exoscar torpedo bombers. How did I miss them? And then you want this thing in the back. This is honestly a ship that I would put ECM package on, or ECCM package on. Since missiles are going to be your main form of damage and the main way that you kill things, you're going to want this sitting very far in the back, just peppering your enemies with a lot of missiles. Recovery shuttles and honestly integrated point defense AI would not be terrible. You kind of want everything already is point defense, so you don't really need it. You can just put caps and vents and done. This is exactly how I would build this, and this would honestly probably work as a pretty good starter fleet. Drop the Zaporia for a few more frigates, and you have what I would count as a very good starter fleet to start off. These ships are expensive, hard to maintain, and cost a lot, but very good ships in the end. That is all that I have for you today. I hope that you enjoyed me rambling about ships that I like for what seems to be about 20 odd minutes. I will probably have another video within the week on the same topic, probably covering the last few capital ships that I've not covered and actually getting some combat footage for them. This is Lynn signing off. I hope you all have a good day and take care.